Welcome to episode 1 of Let's Break It Down for Valorant. I'm starting this new series to analyze basic to advanced strats, gameplay, and mechanics to lessen the barrier of entry, and to help people of all ranks become better at the game. So without further ado,
let's break it down!
In the past 2 months, there's a strategy on the map Bind that has become more prevalent in the competitive scene in high elo, where the team on defense stacks B-site with 3 or 4 players. This has become the default way to play Bind as the game has evolved from beta, since it allows defenders to have a better chance on winning the round. I'd like to note that this trend started way before Killjoy was introduced into the game. The defending team has 2 players on A and 3 players on B. On A site, the 2 members, which are usually Cypher and Raze, play back and gather intel, and if the enemy team pushes, they try to do some damage to delay the enemy from planting and wait for the other team members to rotate to retake the site. Cypher plays a crucial role in being able to slow down the enemy with well-placed tripwires and cages. He can also use his camera for PostPlant, where he marks them with a ping instead of tagging people. Raze is also dominant on A site due to her utility. She can stop plants easily with her nades and satchels, and she can also throw them through the teleporter to stop a hookah push. For B site, there are multiple ways to hold the site. You can have 2 players in hookah with 1 on site or long, 2 players playing long and 1 on site, or all 3 players playing on site or elbow. This strategy works even though both A site and B site on Bind have very similar layouts where there are 2 choke points for entry and 2 choke points for the defending team. However, it is much easier to hold and retake A site than it is for B site. The reason for this is because the attacking team's execution plan is a little bit more complicated, and the post-plant scenarios are better for the defenders on A site. With the map design, the biggest advantage A site has is that there is the access to heaven, and there's a larger area compared to B site. It is always advantageous to have the high grounds.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
Since you can overlook most of the site. And there are also many areas that players can hide in, which require the enemy to check corners. The defending team can also take control of showers, which makes it difficult for the attacking team to take site because it's just 1 entry at short. And for the attacking team, they have to use way more utility to take over the site. At least 3 smokes are used to cover heaven, truck, and triple. And Sage Wall, before patch 1.07, was always used to have a safe plant, which is why Raze was so effective. When the defending team retakes the site, it is easier to coordinate when you exit Heaven and CT compared to B site because of the line of vision. There are also limited areas where the enemy team can hide. Most of the time the post-plant options are U-Haul, Short, Pocket, and Showers. Pocket's not the best place to hide since it is wall-bangable and susceptible to utility. The other 3 areas can get smoked off and get flanked. Also, usually in the most chaotic plant situations, the attacking team on A site are never really able to make it past U-Haul and or triple stack. Even if they did, they're out in the open from a defender coming from CT. And finally, A site is way more susceptible to flanking. Players on B can take TP and get shower control, or they can go down mid and flank through short. B site is way smaller, and therefore the attacking team can flush out almost the entire site with utility. It also takes less smokes to cover the line of sight. The main advantage that defenders have is holding hookah. However, if someone on the defenders gets picked off, then it's almost impossible to hold the site with 1 person, which results in a free plant and allows for optimal post-plant positions for the attacking team. When trying to retake the site, it is also very difficult due to the structure and the different entryways. CT doorway is very small and can be held from hookah or on site, either in the tube or in the corner, and this is completely different than A site where the defending team has line of vision underneath heaven when they exit CT. In general, you should try and stack B site on Bind due to A site being easier to retake and B site being more difficult to hold. There are also other variations of the strategy, including having an opera hold an angle at the start of the round, and then they switch things up the next round. 1 round they're looking down short, next round they look down B long, and then the round after they look down showers. This is to constantly keep your enemy on edge, and from experience, the person that's on the receiving end will get very tilted. And as the attacking team, the best strategy against this would be to play a little bit slowly and lurk and playing default, which will make the defending team over-rotate, or you just hit A really hard and make sure you clear out site completely to have the most optimal post-plant scenario.